Okay, so the next item then is Petition 1247. It's by Stuart McKenzie, calling on the Scottish Parliament to urge the Scottish Government to introduce a McKenzie Friend facility in Scottish courts as a matter of urgency. We've received a submission from the petitioner which has been circulated in the additional papers today. I would also welcome Margaret MacDonald and the sudden arrival of Murdo Fraser, fantastic timing, to the meeting. I know that both individuals have expressed views on this petition in the past, and perhaps at this stage could I maybe invite either member or both members, if they can be reasonably brief, to any comments they wish to make on this particular petition. So, ladies first.
Thank you. Certainly no gentleman.
Okay.
The petition and the backup material you have is self-evident. There has been an opinion poll run in Scotland, and although we should take these with a pinch of salt, there's a consistent level of support showing for the idea of McKenzie's Friends at 66%. We've had word from the bench, from on high, that this has always been open to litigants who defend themselves in Scottish courts. But there doesn't seem to be one view from the bench on this, and even if there were, the one that I think figures in our papers here has it that the McKenzie's Friend must sit behind the person in court, which is of no use at all, as anyone knows. You need someone beside you, and it seems a nitpicking point, but it is functional or dysfunctional in terms of the support and information that can be handed to the person pleading their own case. I personally think that it's self-evident and we should just do it.
Here, here.
That's enough.
If I can expand briefly.
You know, sir, that's the best parliamentary contribution I've heard from you this year. Well done. Okay, sorry.
Very briefly expand. Margaret referred to the Which survey. I think the actual precise figure was 85% of Scots surveyed said that it would be useful to have a scheme whereby those who couldn't afford a lawyer, couldn't find a lawyer, could have a knowledgeable friend sitting beside them, and that's support for McKenzie Friends. I wrote to the Cabinet Secretary for Justice about this before Christmas and got a reply on the 31st of December talking about looking at legislation to amend the current rules to allow lay representatives rights of audience, but that completely misses the point. What Mr McKenzie is not looking for are rights of audience for McKenzie Friends. What he wants is just the right for them to sit beside the litigant in court, not behind them, which is the point that Margot made, I think, very well, but to sit beside them. All that requires is a change in the court rules. It's a very simple procedure. I'm not aware of any serious policy objection to this happening. I think it just needs to happen.
Thanks for the contributions. Okay.
I should have said there is also debate as to whether or not the judge having the determining voice in this is as we would want it to be, or whether it should be a right. I'm not just quite sure, because I can't see anything in any of the papers that have come back to us on that.
Okay, any comments from committee members? Nigel?
Thank you, Vina. We have a very interesting set of papers in front of us which demonstrate that certain people have got the wrong end of some sticks, and there's clear confusion as to what on earth the McKenzie Friend was supposed to be. I thought the Lord President put it very kindly that there seemed to be two meanings of the word. I think actually there only ever was one. It's just that other people didn't bother to find out what it was before they decided to call it something else. And we've now got two meanings which aren't helpful. If we were to go back to the original meaning, which is the friend who sits beside you in court and helps you through, then actually that was not difficult. I think what the Lord President's saying is that he thought that there was no reason why it shouldn't happen, but the rest of the papers seem to indicate that actually it never did, except that seems to have changed within the last few weeks. So I think we should take that as being a step in the right direction. Let's not worry quite why it happened, but it might be that it's coincident with what's going on here. If we can persuade our legal brethren and the gentlemen and ladies on the bench that it would be a good idea if the friend was allowed to sit beside the party litigant, we do think that would help, and I'm sure they would agree. If we could Also, I think I think we need to be careful here not to start telling, even as Parliament, to start telling judges what to do. It does seem to me that Parliament has given, and the courts have acknowledged, rights of audience for lawyers. I think it's very difficult to start deciding what the rights of audience for someone who's not qualified as a lawyer should be. It does seem to me that rightly belongs to the judge on the bench to decide what is helpful and what isn't. I think we need to be very careful how we phrase anything there. The other meaning of Mackenzie's friend is misuse, is that there should be extended rights of audience for lay folk in certain circumstances. Can I suggest that, however important that is not what this petition is about. It actually never was what this petition was about, and it's also a very substantial issue which will have to be addressed in its own right at some point if we think that's important. And I would like to suggest that we cut that off from the actual clear purpose of the petition. If in summary then I can point out, I think the clear purpose of the intention, which was to allow the introduction of Mackenzie's friends in their correct meaning to the Scottish courts, it does appear that actually it's succeeded. And maybe we just need to sit on our hands for a little while and see how that develops.
Oh.
I take the point, or points that Margot MacDonald and Murdo Fraser and Nigel Donn have made, and I don't disagree. I do think, though, that we should write to both the Scottish Government and to the Lord President of the Court of Session, saying, will it, in terms of the Government, and he, in terms of the Lord President, recommend that the McKenzie Friends should sit beside the party, the litigant, not behind them, and perhaps for the Lord President, but perhaps also for the Scottish Government, what's the answer to the concerns of the petitioner about the lack of awareness of this Court of Session with regard to this existence of such a facility. I think we need to belt and braces it like that. I do take Nigel's point, it's always at the discretion of the Court, and we're not going to be telling the Lord President what to do, but I think the Lord President would seem as more than amenable to this. I just think it's actually disseminating the information across those who, those who hold court.
We all want to do, Margaret, maybe invite comments from other committee members, and then we can maybe have another contribution. Okay. Any other views from members of the committee on this particular issue? Okay, Margot.
I was simply going to ask, and Murdo I think might be a help here, can we suggest, on our knees to the Lord President, that it would be better to clarify whether there was a presumption that a Mackenzie's friend would be able to give assistance in court unless the judge feels that the person is quite inappropriate or unsuitable, because you can imagine some of the friends that Mackenzie might bring with him. So, no, I'm laughing about it, but you can. Particularly in Europe. Oh, no.
Murdo, follow that, Murdo.
Well,
yeah.
I'd like to classify myself as a friend of Margot, so I don't know how that qualifies me. I think the point, Nigel made a fair point when he suggested that things seem to be happening, and I'd like to think that was the case, but I think it would be better if we tried to get some absolute clarity here as to the way forward. So anybody turning up in court with a friend knows that they're not going to be suddenly told by the presiding judge, no, your friend can't sit beside you. I don't like the look of him, he's got to sit at the back of the court. I think it would be better to get some clarity, so I'm inclined to agree with what Mr Butler is proposing as a course of action.
Any other comments then? So I think from the discussion we've had, we should continue the petition itself. There is a number of areas of clarity that are required and precision that we want to get some response to. So let's do that, and also in terms of some of the specific issues about the awareness in the court system to the capacity to have a Mackenzie friend and to ensure that people understand that in that process. Okay. Any other comments from members? Okay, Robin.
I would bend a knee to Margot, but not to the Lord President of the Council, with due respect.
That's your card, Mark, Robin. Okay. Right. Okay, so thanks for your time. So we'll continue the petition and we'll try and explore those points through letters and inquiries to government and to the Lord President of the Court of Session. Okay?